So in my last video, we made this document here when we were using the vidIQ Chrome extension to look for other channels in my niche and then to look at the top videos in each of those channels and pick out some similarities, some different some themes, some topics that were popular on multiple channels, and then basically put them together and come up with some video ideas, which I've done. I've created a second document here, and some of the popular ones we found were avoiding certain foods after 60, what you should eat to live longer, don't waste your life was on lots of channels, and these 5 things will happen to you after 70, whether you like it or not. But the other one as well, which was basically about foods that you should eat. And the video that I liked was on the Senior Wisdom channel, and it's basically called Your Legs Weaken First. Eat these 6 foods to strengthen them, advice for the elderly. On the thumbnail, it says, death starts in your legs. If you're over 70, eat this immediately. So what I've done for the video that I'm going to make is I've actually taken the text from the thumbnail and used that as my title, because I actually believe that a lot of people probably read that before they clicked rather than actually reading the title. So I'm going to use that as my title. I've done a little summary here, and I'm going to do this obviously for other videos as well, but this is the one we're working on today. And I've gone to this video here, which Your Legs Weaken First, yeah, and I've basically copied, if you click on the description, scroll down, I've copied the transcript of this video and I put it into Gemini. So here is a document which I'll put a link in the description, you can get this whole document, which documents my conversation with Gemini. And so the first prompt I put in was, below is a transcript of a video on a channel in my niche. Please analyze the content and give me a summary and your comments about the quality of the content of this video. And then I've pasted in here Gemini's answer to see what it looked like. Okay, and then it's the last thing that Gemini said was, would you like me to take these 6 foods and draft a much shorter, no fluff script you could use for a 5-minute video or a series on social media reels? I said, yes, please give me a 5-minute script, which is just as emotional storytelling as the original, with great hooks and retention devices. Emphasize the aspects that will keep the viewer engaged. And that's exactly what Gemini did. And it broke it down into sections with its comments and explaining why it had written it like this. There's a retention loop, and then it's got what the narrator says, and then we go through the next phase and the different foods, and then the close, okay, and the engagement hook. So, and it says why this script works for your channel. And so basically then I liked it. I read through the script and all the comments. I said, strip out your comments and give me the script punctuated correctly, ready to paste into ElevenLabs to create the voiceover. Gemini did this, gave me the script. So what I did then was I copied this script, okay, and then I said generate speech. Okay, I'm not going to do it again because I've already done it, so that would just be a waste of credits. But the voice I used, yeah, documentary narrator, this is actually a voice that I created myself, and I will show you how to do that. That's very easy. So all you need to do is you go to voices, and in voices, then you can say create voice, and we'll just put in here voice design. So then you put in a prompt for the type of voice that you want. And I actually got ChatGPT to write me a prompt for the type of voice I needed for the videos I was going to make. And then I said generate voice, and it gives you 3 options, and I chose one of the options, and then I gave it the name let's go back to text to speech. I gave it the name Documentary Narrator 1. Okay, so I created this whole script with the voice Documentary Narrator 1. So then once I had that, I downloaded the voiceover, and the next thing I did was I put this took this script and took the voiceover file and said to Gemini, take this voiceover file and create a .srt captions file that I can upload to CapCut for on-screen captions throughout the video. Pay particular attention to the timing of each snip of caption text and timestamp it accordingly to avoid manual editing. Gemini came back with this timestamped captions file, which I then pasted into Notepad and saved as captions.srt. And then I asked Gemini for titles. I said, now I need 10 titles and thumbnail design combinations, the layout plus the image plus the text, that are optimized for YouTube browser click-through rate. Okay, the reason it's optimized for YouTube browse click-through rate is because it's quite easy to optimize a video for YouTube search, but unless someone actually goes in and searches for your video, they're not actually going to see all your work of optimizing it. However, if you actually optimize your thumbnail and your title so that YouTube will put it in the feed at the side on the right hand side when someone is watching another video and they scroll through it to look for what to watch next, then this is actually going to get you more views, and the algorithm, if you get clicked, then the algorithm will keep pushing your video. If your thumbnail and title combination works in browse, that is the thing that will make your video popular and get you lots of views. So this is why I said to optimize it for YouTube browse click-through rate. Gemini came back with various different titles, but in the titles and the thumbnails, it was actually saying to picture the foods and different things like this, which I didn't want to do because I want to have some curiosity. So I then said, okay, give me 10 more titles and thumbnails, this time no imagery of actual foods, as it takes away the curiosity. No need to click, they see what's in the video. And emphasis on what they want to avoid, things like nursing homes, falls, unsteadiness, fatigue, etc. Images should not be detailed or technical and should be clear when viewed with small dimensions. This is very important. Yeah, your YouTube thumbnail must be obvious what it is when it's small, because they are small. They are reduced in size. They're not the size that you normally would see them, like on a channel page or whatever. They're much smaller. So Gemini came back and gave me some more, and I liked this number 4, avoid the fall. Rebuild your legs at home I wouldn't like so much. Yeah, and it's given me some ideas for a graphic. So I then said, I like number 4, give me an image prompt for a cane with a big red X and another for a cane standing unused in a closet. Another variations worth creating. So cane being snapped in half, etc. Images should be square or vertical format to leave room for text on the thumbnail. Also give me different versions of the title which start the same, avoid the fall, but with different endings, some with words like simple, easy, etc., and various descriptions of the solution. Okay, so Gemini came back with the descriptions here for the prompts for creating the image, and then it's come up with avoid the full six food solution, simple six food solution, muscle glue method, all of these different ones. Okay, and the thumbnail then is which I didn't ask for, but it gave also for a thumbnail layout tip. It's given some good advice, which is actually quite useful. That basically people look on the right side and then on the left side, because the human eye usually scans from left to right. So if they see the benefit text first and then the curiosity image second, it forces the brain to click to bridge the gap. Okay, then I said, I want to produce this video as quickly and easily as possible. I have the voiceover and the captions. Now all I need is some stock footage. Please break the script timeline down for me and give me appropriate clips to place on each section, which Gemini it does perfectly. It breaks it down into 15-20 second sections and suggests what images you can actually use for each section of the script. So images and video clips. Okay. Then it also gives some pro tips for fast editing. Ken Burns effect, this is zoom out and slide and pan and zoom and different things that you can do easily in CapCut or any video editor. Some color grading thing, and music choice as well. It gave me some advice on that. Then I said, please give me a description. More important than being search optimized, make sure it's optimized for YouTube browse so it gets shown to people who watch elder advice videos. Also give me tags, 500 characters, comma separated, and hashtags. So this is giving me everything ready to do the YouTube upload as well. So it gives me the description, it gives me timestamps, which is great. Yeah, it actually finds the timestamps in the video of each of the different foods, and a disclaimer, which is always important on this type of video. This is not medical information. Seek advice from a professional. Then we've got 500 characters of tags, and we've got some hashtags. So I didn't like, in the end, I didn't like the images I got when I used the prompts to create a picture of a cane being snapped or a red X in front of a cane. They didn't look very good. So I decided to use the avoid the fall part for the text, because I decided not to use that in the title. I come up with a much better title. As I said at the beginning, I'm using the text off the thumbnail from the reference video. And so I thought, okay, so we have a picture of someone who's had a fall and they're being taken in an ambulance. And then after I did this, I actually gave this thumbnail to Gemini and said, this thumbnail is intended to go with a video titled, Death Starts in Your Legs. If you're over 65, eat this immediately. You are an expert on YouTube click-through rate optimization. Please grade the combination objectively and give me suggestions for any improvements I could make. The last thing you want is Gemini or ChatGPT or any other AI LLM blowing smoke up your ass and saying, oh, that's great, that's super, that's wonderful. Yeah. When you want something like this, you want them to be objective. You want to actually get the real information that you need. Okay, so basically it gave me a breakdown and basically said the title is extremely strong, but the thumbnail doesn't work. Yeah, it looks more like it's an advert for an ambulance service or a medical insurance. So it then tells me what's good and what's bad and gives me some different ideas, and I went through and basically analyzed. Give me 3 suggestions for your top 3 and ranked with reasons. So then it gives me the 3 best choices and then another 7. Okay, and so number 1 was close up of a bare leg with a red circular danger zone. Okay, beside it a hand holds a single common food item, whatever. Okay, so I then come back and say, I like number one, apart from depicting an actual food, which detracts from the curiosity. If it's something they know already, they won't click. So maybe a plate with a question mark would be better. If you disagree, tell me why I'm wrong. And Gemini disagreed. Yeah, didn't it says you aren't wrong, but yeah, this is not the best way to approach it. If you want to give a visual tease, then you need to do it a different way. And it gave me some explanations of why and some options. And basically it said the best way to do it would be to have a doctor holding the blueberry. So it implies authority and things like that. So I said, I like a doctor holding a single blueberry with a pair of surgical tweezers next to a diagram of a leg vein, which was what it suggested. But I would like to change, I would change the leg vein for an inflamed knee joint, as that fits the video script. Because when we're talking about blueberries in the video script, it actually talks about this is the antioxidants in there which reduce inflammation, particularly knees and things like that. So apart from blueberries, there are 5 other foods mentioned in the video. Knowing there are 6 foods total and showing the blueberry knee in the image, what would be the optimal clickable text for the thumbnail? So then Gemini analyzes that. It agrees that it's a good idea to have the doctor holding the blueberry and put the knee next to it because it fits the script. And then the text it suggests is the 6 foods, or do this now, or the knee cure, doctor's pick, whatever. Okay, so the recommendation it gives is this. And so I said, yes, okay. It says, would you like me to write a pin ready YouTube description? Yeah, and 3 to 5 tags. And so I said, yes. And please make sure the description is optimized for the algorithm to show it on browse, not just optimized for search. So all the time I keep reinforcing this and actually keep mentioning it to make sure that Gemini doesn't get off track and start producing search optimized things. Okay, so then Gemini produces the description. Again, it recommends putting in timestamps, which I've already got. The actual timestamps I've already got. So these were just made up timestamps because at this stage I haven't actually given this conversation of Gemini the actual script. So it basically says, and then it gives me some nice hashtags and also some recommendations for tags, which I then copied and made into comma separated so that I can actually just copy and paste that when I upload it, and gives me a little bit of why it works. And then I said, please create an image prompt to get the exact image I need for the thumbnail, including background colors, etc. So I asked it for a prompt, but because Gemini is part of, Gemini is the overall suite of tools for Google, and one of the other tools is Nano Banana. Gemini created the prompt and then fed it into Nano Banana, and Nano Banana created the thumbnail for me. I later went back in and asked it for a pinned comment, so when the video goes up, and so I just pasted that in there as well. So now I have everything in this document which is ready for the upload. All I need to do now is to go back to where it actually gave me these timings here and the video clips, and to find the assets. So video clips from stock footage libraries and things like that. And then I need to find all of those to get everything ready to create the actual video. So there we go. We have the script created and we have the production plan. We've got the thumbnail, we've got the title, we've got the description, we've got everything ready to upload it. Now we just need to make the video. So in the next video, I will show you how to put everything together in CapCut. I may also do a separate video, just a short one, about actually collecting the different assets, collecting the different video clips and images and animating images and things like that. So so we'll create assets and then we'll build the video. So if there's any questions you got about anything that I've talked about today, anything that I've skimmed over too quickly, or anything else you think I should have included, please drop a note in the comments, and I will be checking the comments and I'll answer all of your questions. And that's about it for today. So if you're following along with this series and you haven't done it already, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video when it comes out. And that's it for today. Thanks very much. Bye for now.